Hello and welcome back to another University Deep Dive. Today, we are profiling the University of Miami's Real Estate and Development Program, their master's program. And we've got Andrew Samonas with us today. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm excellent, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. And to get us started, we'll turn it over to Spencer.
Yeah. So again, Andrew, thank you for your time. And I'm excited to talk about University of Miami's MRED. And that's because I don't know much about it. Many of these deep dives that I do, I already know a lot about the programs. Yeah. This is a program that is unique, and I have a special affinity for Miami. I lived in Latin America for 10 years, and Miami serves as the de facto capital of Latin America. I don't think that's a controversial statement to say. And so I love Miami. I have some good friends there. So I'm excited to talk about this. To get us started, what does it mean, Andrew, to study real estate as a master's student, as a graduate student at the University of Miami?
Well, I'll reference what you just said about Latin America, and Miami in general is often looked at as its own world. Nowhere else in this country can you find such a mix. I would say blend, but it's really not a blend. It's just this mix, and everyone is together and working amongst each other. And when I say everyone, you get Latin America, you get Cuba, you get South America, Asia America. And so you have such a variety of backgrounds and cultural backgrounds that everything becomes such a different playing field. And so when you go to the University of Miami, you're directly and immediately immersed in that, because the influence from your classmates to your instructors to your advisory board to your mentors and so on, you're going to get a mix of those backgrounds.
Yeah, that's great. You know, Miami truly is an international city, and that's what I love about it. It has that energy, and so I could imagine that studying at the University of Miami will give you that experience. What about real estate specifically? What does it mean to study real estate at Miami?
Well, you come down here, and when you fly into Miami, it's great because it's a very flat area, but you can see the rising towers. And also next to the towers and among you are all of the cranes of all of the current construction. So studying real estate and studying the development pipeline is, I won't say easy, but very engaging. And so when you study real estate, you have the ability to go and stand on these properties and analyze them in a very real time. And so rather than looking at the history of a development of a city, like an older city like New York or Boston, this is a city that is growing day by day.
Yeah. And the MRED program specifically, and when we say MRED, we're talking the Masters in Real Estate Development and Urbanism, right?
Yep.
And it's a program for graduate students studying real estate, I guess, development. What is the length of the program? How many credits are required to complete the program? Is it full-time, part-time, a mix? Talk to us about those specifics.
Sure. So you arrive in late August here in Miami, and I will reference everything that I'll say about pre-COVID, because at some point we're going to go back to normal, and that's going to be wonderful for everyone, students particularly, and professors even more so. Yes. So everything I'll say is my experience personally. You arrive in late August, and you do an 8-day orientation where you're touring the city, and they arrange tours of buildings that are being constructed or soon to be constructed or recently completed. And they do that via their advisory board. And so you immediately are out in Miami, and it's hot, and you're like, where am I? What am I gotten myself into? And for me, coming from out of state, that was particularly true.
New Hampshire, right? So you're not used to that humidity. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, not used to that diversity and the mix of those cultures, like I mentioned. So upon the orientation, you start right away, and through September and then through Christmas is semester 1. And then there's a spring semester as well. And then the following spring and summer, you're in 4 credits. So for a total of 36 credits, you're in about 3 semesters. However, you can do it part-time and take a variety of credit hours depending on what your schedule allows.
Great. Is there a requirement for an internship or a thesis, or is it the 36 hours, call it 3 semesters, and you complete the degree?
You're certainly encouraged to do an internship, and there is a faculty member on board that is the liaison, the liaison for all internships and connections for those types of roles. They place students every year, every semester into internships and jobs for that matter, where this faculty member will help you, and they'll help you. They put your resume in a certain template format, and then they distribute that to everyone they have connections to. So yeah, you're certainly encouraged, and they do that because they want you to be in the field. And if you have a certain interest or a concentration that you'd like to pursue, they're going to emphasize that and try to get you to do it in practice.
That's incredibly important. And it doesn't have to be just summer internships. Externships over winter breaks, I imagine, are valuable, and especially in a place like Miami where a winter break is a name. Yeah. So what about outcomes? So it's a master's of real estate development. Does that mean that all students who come out of this program go into development, or what do you generally see in terms of roles and firm types for graduates of the program?
Well, yeah, and I'll answer that question by backing up and saying that the cohort of real estate development students actually is comprised of architecture students, architecture backgrounds, finance backgrounds, brokerage backgrounds. And so everyone comes to this program with a different set of skills or a different set of experiences. And then they have what is in their mind where they'd like to go. The outcome for a lot of folks would be to work for a name brand developer or institution. But I will say that the university and the professors don't necessarily teach you to just be an employee. They are definitely instructing you to do it on your own. And so when you look around the room or you ask the entire group, where would you like to see yourself headed? I would say 30 to 40% are saying, I'd like to be my own developer and I'd like to do these projects myself. So I think it's a healthy balance.
That's great. So you got a bit of entrepreneurship coming out of the program. It sounds like some development. What about finance? Do you see any of your colleagues that are coming out and going into finance, acquisition, asset management roles, or is development really the focus here? And go ahead.
No, yeah. So the finance courses are required. You can take up to 4 throughout your entire career. And the finance for me, and I'll give you my personal background, was a huge push for me to come down here and do this, because I was financially illiterate and I did not know how to read a pro forma at all. And so coming down here and getting that experience in that curriculum was very important. And so then you can go out and become the finance associate, the asset management associate, and so on. So yeah, I would say that there's certainly that opportunity. And if not right away, you then have the development experience that you can transfer into those types of roles.
Yeah, that's great. And in terms of location, is South Florida the destination for most graduates of the program, or are they moving beyond South Florida in your experience?
I would say that yes, definitely South Florida, and I'll say South Florida full stop, period.
Sure.
And I will say that a lot of our advisory board and alumni are still here in South Florida. So if you are looking to study and work in South Florida, then this would be the place for you. However, I would say that if you're looking to blend borders or boundaries elsewhere in the country, then you might consider other universities for that matter.
Yeah. And by the way, that's not atypical for universities. In my experience, real estate programs generally are regional in reach, especially development, where development is such a local skill set. And you could argue that it's a huge advantage for a University of Miami to have such reach into a fast growing market such as Miami.
And again, it goes back to Latin America and the migration of those countries. You'll see right away that the money and development is heavily influenced by those types of trends.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, let's talk about extracurricular. So you got your classroom, your 36 hours. That leads to some really interesting job prospects in South Florida. But what sort of extracurricular opportunities, activities are available to MRED students to prepare them for those jobs, to interface with potential employers or partners, et cetera?
Sure. Well, there's a huge push, and there's actually a calendar up in the administration office that gives you every single networking event that is coming up. And so you are certainly encouraged, and they give you business cards. You can have the option to create your own University of Miami business card, which is a huge help because it's an immediate identity that you have.
Yep.
But you're encouraged to go to these events and use your platform, such as the university, to meet people. So I say, like, through BizNow events, ICSC events, and then every year they host a real estate impact conference with the business school as well. So those types of extracurriculars are just invaluable because it's a very good environment to meet people across the spectrum, not just development.
What about Alumni Connections? Obviously, University of Miami has incredible reach in South Florida. What opportunities are provided for you and other MRED students to engage with alumni?
Yeah, so in our Friday morning lectures, they'll have either a rotating series of alumni speakers or development speakers, so just local business owners. And so the alumni will frequently stop in and speak to you and answer questions, very much in like this format here, which I think is super valuable. And then aside from that, that faculty member that is the liaison also helps you and connects you very easily. You're assigned a mentor at the beginning of your program, an alumni mentor. So that alumni mentor meets with you, coffee, beers, whatever. And that's a great platform as well.
Yeah. So what about outside the classroom, outside of even extracurriculars? What do graduate students do? Like in your free time, and what kind of fun activities? I mean, obviously you got the beach.
There's no fun in Miami. You want to have fun, don't come to Miami. It's not exciting whatsoever. No, but in all honesty, you come here and whatever your taste, whatever your appetite for extracurriculars, there's something to find. Last year, I was not interested in art, but through the various art galleries and how art plays a role in real estate here, you sort of become involved indirectly and you start to notice and appreciate these things. On top of that, it's a super active city. So obviously it's 80 out right now, and you can go and be biking, running, walking. And I joined a running group last year, and those sort of things are really great because there's such a variety of people and also a lot of young people. So that's such a great way to just meet people in a very informal setting that helped me a lot for coming from out of state and not having really any background here.
Yeah, here's an important question. How's your Spanish? And are you using it on a day-to-day basis?
Man. Well, people on the road probably think I'm a crazy person because I when I'm driving, I practice my Spanish. And yeah, I mean, it's getting better. You don't really have the option. You just have to be good at the standard phrases and like ordering food or getting by day to day. But I would say it's still pretty terrible.
Yeah, you know, for those who have never been to Miami, what I love about it, and I speak fluent Spanish, having lived all those years in Latin America, it's truly a bilingual city. And
I would say, yeah, predominantly.
And a good share of the population speak fluent English and fluent Spanish, and you can really go in either way. It's a lot of fun. You know, we're almost out of time, Andrew, and I wanted this is a question I always ask because it's really insightful. As you've looked back now at your time thus far at the University of Miami, you might even look back before while you were applying and the like. Is there an experience that you can point us to that was especially impactful that you go, okay, yeah, that made a big impact on me and will carry with me through my career?
Yeah, absolutely. The Real Estate Impact Conference, as it's appropriately named, is just that. So it's hosted by the Miami Herbert Business School and the MRED program. And you go and you mingle and you have some breakfast, and then they have some speakers, and then you do a big lunch. And the lunch is put on by the advisory board, and they place students at various tables. But I happened to be sitting at a table with one of the largest general contractors in Florida, and the member is on our advisory board. And then also at my table was another developer in Miami, and they just happened, strike up a conversation in a very organic way. And like not 2 months later, I see that they're doing a deal together, and I'm like, that makes sense. And so not only for those types of relationships, but just because those guys were both presidents or founders or CEOs. And that to me was just like, whoa, That's real. And I'm sitting there, and hopefully that, you sound articulate, but that was a very genuine and bona fide experience for me.
Yeah, what a great experience. And Andrew, thank you for your time. This has been enlightening. I want to go to the University of Miami now. I just want to go to Miami in a COVID environment. I want to go to Miami right now. So anyway, thank you, Andrew, and back to you, Sam.
Yeah, Andrew, very good. Miami does sound amazing, and the MRED program sounds amazing too. So thank you for coming today. And to our ACRE readers, thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you over at ACRE.